What's going on, everybody? I got to the gym much later than I had planned, and so my time was a bit limited. I wanted to make sure at least I got the primary movements done and hoping to be able to get the accessories. Thankfully, I got everything done, but I was in a hurry. So I did my muscle clean into push press for the primer, triples with 135, 145, and 155. I just lifted, added weight, lifted, added weight, lifted. No rest time in between. I really didn't have time for that. And thankfully, I'm going light enough on incline bench where I don't need any warm up sets. So we've got 185 for the 10 sets of 5, 90 seconds of rest between sets. And I certainly could have cut down the rest time, but I don't want to do that, not this early out, just because I know I will start to need that 90 seconds, and I don't want to rush these. Even though I didn't have too much time, I didn't want to force it and didn't want to get challenged that way. At the very least, as long as I do the primary movements according to plan, I'm okay with that. I would rather sacrifice a little bit of accessory work for the sake of getting quality primary movers as opposed to trying to adjust to the primary movers just for the sake of getting to accessories. So you may have already noticed the bench setup is a little bit different. So I did not use the Reebok adjustable one, and instead I put a couple of 45-pound bumper plates under one of our flat benches, and I really like the setup. This bench is better for support anyways. It's longer, so my head is completely flush against the bench, whereas with the Reebok one, it kind of hangs off. It's not a deal breaker, but it is a little uncomfortable, especially when I start to go heavier. And I took a little bit of a narrow grip, so especially from this angle you can see how close my grip is. I didn't intend to do that, to be honest. Since I was short on time, I just grabbed the bar and lifted, and then I realized about 3 or 4 sets in that I was more or less taking a close grip, and that's okay, that's fine. I'm pretty strong with this grip. I don't like going too wide on a bench press unless it's something like a guillotine press, so it's all good. And honestly, I felt like I was rushing through these, maybe just because in my mind I knew I was keeping a very close eye on the clock and the time, but thankfully I slowed myself down. You'll see some long pauses on the chest just for the sake of making up for the fact that I thought I was really kind of breezing through them. No rep is bad, don't get me wrong. None of these reps are bad at all. They're all paused to a degree. It's just that, to me, my mind was kind of racing a little bit, so sometimes it felt like I was barely even on the chest, when in reality it was still a good pause. And so you'll see some really long pauses on a number of reps, usually on rep 5 of the sets, but especially for the last set, I purposely slowed it down and put in pretty good, almost exceedingly long pauses. So there's that. All in all, easy bench day. Easy. It's 185. This is nothing for me. And for the accessory, I knew I was going to do the weighted dip, and I wanted to do a 5x10. I think what I'm going to do for accessory movements in general, maybe with some exception, but in general, I'd like to do a 5x10 instead of a 3x6 to 8. That way the intensity is a little bit lower for the sake of getting more volume and going lighter. So especially when the primary movements get heavier and heavier and take more out of me, I won't have to worry about doing 3 sets of 6, 7, or 8 reps, but rather 5 sets of 10 or something close to that, so it doesn't feel like I have to completely drain my energy and my strength. So we'll see. But today could not do that. There's no way I could have done 5 sets of 10. I just would not have had time for that. So I did 3 sets of 8 with 75 pounds for dips, and that felt pretty good. It felt about right, and that's what I did last time after military press, so it's all good. All right, y'all. Thank you, and adopt, don't chop.